Hey guys, it's Jay Cosby here with the 75 Reef tank update. Okay, so I was running a 29-gallon sump with some simple baffles in there and about maybe a 12 by 6 inch refugium. And I didn't really have much of a filtration. It was just more of a getting the power filters off the back and moving into my other tank. So over the past few days, I've went ahead and redid my whole entire plumbing system. So I just had a couple flex tubes running down to something back up, and that was leaking really bad. So went ahead and redid all of it. Probably dumped $200 in everything that I've done for filtration now. So you see, you got my overflow right there. I didn't want to drill this tank because I've never drilled a tank before. So it's going to drop down, and that's going to come this tube down into my sump for now, which isn't going to stay this maybe until tomorrow. Then it's going to come through here, and since there's no baffles, it just kind of goes around. We got the heater, got a little rock, and some little Cheeto back there. Pumps, it's my skimmer, then it goes into this collection jar full of nasty stuff. That's probably about 2 days worth of stuff. And then, I don't know if you can really see, but there's a tiny pump right there, probably 250 gallons per hour pump. What it does, it pumps up this tube, to this tube, into this tank. It's a 20-something gallon hexagon. And it pumps out that on the surface, and then there's a bunch of macroalgae. There's Cheeto, there's a ton of Cheeto under this green fuzzy stuff. Let's see if I can grab some Cheeto in there. Yeah, see, this is Cheeto morpha. It's just covered, like, that's a lot of Cheeto. So, the person built that, and what that does is it drains through this little overflow down this tube, comes back into my sump net, and then comes back up. And I decided to do a tube with holes drilled in it. So instead of having one output, I have, I think, 16 or 17 holes going for surface agitation. Then I have a bunch of tiny holes under here to go down in the tank and circulate throughout the whole tank. So basically with that set up, my whole tank is getting clean water, and I'm not missing any part of it. I know my corals are loving it now, but once I have everything set up, it's going to be a lot nicer. So that's how it's set up now currently. This is not going to stay. This is just so I can have something running and filtering while I work on my sump. So this is the refugium. I've got 2 LED lights. This one's not plugged in. And that puts out good light. And it's kind of dark, but the stand it's hollow on the inside. So what I'm probably going to do when I get everything the way I want it, I'm going to drain this tank. I'm going to pick it up, and there's nothing under this. It's just an outside frame. There's no glass or wood paneling under this, so you can sit stuff in it. So what I'm going to probably do, if this will fit, I'm going to take this bucket, I'm going to sit it in there. And that's what I'm going to run my auto top-off system, my fresh RO water from. So this is going to sit inside the sump, and then it's going to power my pump, and it's going to pull the water from the bucket sitting under there, so I don't have to have a clutter in this area, so I can just have it all neat into this corner. So my plans is I picked this up, $20. Like, the front of this sump is just destroyed. But what I liked about it was it has a trickle box, bio balls, space, egg crate, and I like the way the back is plumbed right here. Just move it how you want, connect it here, drop down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to salvage all this part. I'm going to take this part out, right here. And then I'm going to remove these slides, take the egg crate out, remove this slide right here. And I'm going to go ahead and transfer that down into my 29-gallon sump. So that's going to take out about maybe 9 inches of space lengthwise. And then that's going to trickle down through the bio balls, and then it's going to get pumped by the tiny pump into the refugium. And then the refugium is going to drain back into the sump. I'm going to separate the sections so all the water that goes through the bio balls will go through the refugium. Because if I don't put a barrier or baffle there, the water is just going to run through it, and it's not guaranteeing me that all the water is going to pass through the refugium. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a baffle that's going to be from the top all the way down, fully, so no water can pass through the other side. So this it's going to be 2 separate sections. So the water is going to come down into one, and then it's going to sit in the other, and that pump is going to pump the water into the refugium, and the refugium is going to drain down to the other side of the baffle. And on the other side of the baffle, it's going to be the drain tube for this, and it's going to come down, and the skimmer is going to be there, and then it's going to be a set of bubble traps, and then it's going to be my return pump. So now what I'm trying to decide is if I would like to integrate a frag tank into my system. Because I want a frag tank, it's just I don't want to run a whole separate system. I want to run everything together, so when I do water changes, I don't have to do 2 separate water changes. And hopefully with that refugium, I won't have to do that many water changes, so I'm trying to cut down that. That's why I'm doing this. So either I'm going to use this tank, which is a 20-gallon tank, and for me to do this, it's going to sit on the right side of the tank, the opposite side the refugium's on. And I'm going to somehow figure out how to plumb that. Or I'm going to use a smaller 10-gallon aquarium for the frag tank. I haven't decided yet. I have not a lot of piping, so I'm going to sit down and try and figure it out, because I want my frag tank to be a display frag tank. So I still got to paint the doors around the stand, but getting around to it. So I would probably have the frag tank sitting in this back area, like, so you could just sit and view the frags if you wanted to. Walk over here, look at your frags. But I would have the tubing running. I don't know how to explain this, but the ball valve there. Under the ball valve would be a T-valve with the clean water coming to the frag tank. The frag tank would have a built-in overflow, and would overflow down back into the dirty side of the sump. So that would guarantee that the frag tank would always get the clean water that passes through the refugium and the bio balls and all the filtration. And then the dirty water would go back in and it would recirculate itself. So the frag tank would always get clean water, and the display tank would always get clean water. So I'm kind of running out of time, so that's what's going to be done in the near future, maybe in a week or so. So when I get all that up, I will make another video, and I want to give a shout out to Coral Cove. Really want to go there, just haven't had the time yet. I really want to pick up some nice corals and maybe some fish. So if you guys have any questions, just comment on this, or comment me on the saltwatergeeks.com, Jay Cosby, and this is my 75-gallon reef tank.